I came to recovery because my life was in a downhill motion to where I couldn't get myself out of. I was putting myself in a situation that I can't get out of, with a lot of violence and a lot of drug addiction and alcohol addiction.
I'm just basically getting over things that I wouldn't say healed properly, I guess.
I used to, you could smoke it, I would smoke it. You could put it in your nose, I would do that. I put it in a needle, mixed it with whiskey. I didn't care.
And I lost my children because of my addiction to alcohol. And I almost lost myself to alcohol too.
I had so many opportunities as a young man, and I lost them all drinking and getting high.
The people living in darkness have seen a great light. On those living in the land of the shadow of death, a light has dawned. Hi, my name is Jason Yunker. I love the passage that was just read because it's about firsts. And there's just something about firsts. Whether it's the first day of spring, the first home run of the baseball season, the first steps or the first words of a child, the videos collected here are interviews with people who were living in darkness and are now experiencing the first light of dawn. They're in their first days of sobriety. For some, they are experiencing their first Bible studies, first church services. As you hear them talk, you'll hear them expressing brand new insights and the first moments of mental clarity after years of drug and alcohol abuse. In general, I've asked these men and women to share their stories and a little bit about the resilient recovery groups that we hold in their rehab. Side note, you may hear people refer to the book that we use or the Bible studies that we have. When they do that, they're referring to resilient recovery groups, which we hold in their rehab. I hope that as you get to know them, you will experience some of the joy and the fascination that I experience in my daily work as a facilitator of resilient recovery groups.
In this world I live behind, thought I'm on my way.
Yeah, maybe you can tell us just a little bit about yourself and your story.
I'm Denise Shortman, and I'm from the Navajo Reservation, and I'm a drug addict and an alcoholic, and I spent, I don't know, quite a few years doing that. I gradually quit smoking last, actually. That was the hardest thing to quit. And the alcohol, I managed to quit for a few years ago, but I still drink every now and then. I haven't drank recently, and I've been mainly feeling that I need to do this so I could get back to my family, to my brothers, to my sisters, to my kids, and to my grandma. My grandma misses me, and I'm wasting all this time doing crazy things, stuck on things that can be helped, and I'm finally ready to go for it on my own rather than waiting on other people, other excuses, or just me being upset about things that don't even need to be remembered that way anymore. I'm finding peace with myself finally, and through church and through praying and just thinking that, wow, all those years I thought I was so mature. Maybe I was, but I guess immaturely I was hanging on to the feelings, the emotions that wouldn't let me go back. I mean, I wasn't one to have outbursts. I wasn't one to, throw a fit or anything, but I think I was holding grudges maybe to my past, so it did nothing but push me away from my home when I could have just let it go and there would have been no barrier there. So I'm just basically getting over things that I wouldn't say healed properly, I guess. Like, I didn't let it fester, but I didn't let it heal either. And it's finally coming around full circle, and I just realized that a lot of things that I did, I wouldn't change, but all of the things that I went through, I wouldn't change either. Because whatever I went through is helped me realize I could stand on my feet. That I don't have to argue. I don't have to get upset. I don't have to feel ashamed about what I went through. I can say that it happened for a reason, and that whatever I went through, it can be used to be learned from if people are willing to listen. I mean, I'm finally willing to listen to myself without arguing with myself, without putting myself down. And I could say every struggle that I went through, it wasn't something I would want anybody else to go through. I'm glad I went through it instead. I'd say they're pretty unique because we're all unique in our own ways. I mean, pretty much we're all here for the same addictions, but not all of us started doing what we're doing for the same reasons. You start to realize that there's different perspectives and that none of the people around you actually look down on how you were or what you were doing. And you start to find acceptance. You start to hear different perspectives of how you can look at your situation from different points of views, and it really expands your knowledge on how to handle situations when they come up. And it gives you a sense of like support and security like within your peers, knowing that everybody's pretty much going through the same thing. They're just dealing with it in different ways. And to hear so many different outputs put into like a single conversation, it puts like a new perspective of the way you think. You don't tell somebody how to think, you tell them how you think, so then that way they can start learning how other people, I mean, we're all different. Some people have nephews, some people are the uncles, and the other way around, they're nephews and they have uncles. And we're all different ages. It puts a different view on how, elders see younger children and how all the roles are reversed. All of us have had our ups and our downs, and I've done pretty much everything. I was a good student. I was also really naughty. I mean, I've almost completed like my associate's degree in college, and I used to work a lot. I used to work like full time, and at the same time I knew how to drink full time. So it's like no matter what situation in life you're in, it's all in how you are willing to be true to yourself and admit those things so you can overcome it. So you can completely sober up and actually want it and mean it and put your feet where your mind is and actually, put the step back into the path that you want to walk on, rather than having the path pointed out to you all the time, complaining about where you're at. It's a lot easier when you want to be on that path instead. And I mean, this program helps you realize that. I mean, it doesn't tell you what to do. It helps you realize that you're exactly where you need to be when you feel confused about something, or when you feel like there's something. I feel like whenever I have a problem going on, somehow we're going over that in the book each time. I don't know how it happens, but like last Wednesday we were talking about how I missed my family and how they don't talk to me and everything, and then surprisingly, miraculously this week somehow they all started talking to me, and I spoke to most of them on the phone last night. And I was, holy cow, I was just crying about them being mad at me, and now they're talking to me, and I was like, I'm crying with happiness. Yeah, I was so happy yesterday. Yesterday was my youngest brother's birthday, and I was just like, it's so weird like how when you pray, when you put God within your own faith, put your faith with your motivation, mix it all together, somehow it all unfolds like beautifully, and it's not what you thought it would be, and it's not hard either. It just like it goes with the exact steps you want to go with if you want it. believe that you want to be better and pray and have faith that, let things go, let God understand that you finally admit your faults, your shortcomings, and you let Him help you without any anger, without any remorse anymore. When you don't feel sorry for yourself, you're not angry for yourself or other people, and it all comes together. I think that it would lose the fact that we all come closer together with it, because we start to hear people's problems and what they went through and how they really are now, like how they've become the way they are. It's easier to talk about your shortcomings, your irritabilities, your mood swings. You're not just moody, you are moody, and you can say why, and you can feel okay being that way. And you can't even really be like that with your families anymore at this point for a lot of us, because we've been away from them for so long. And when you're moody to somebody, they'll be moody right back to you. And most of the time that's why when you're out smoking, when you're drinking, or when you're just overworked at home, even if you can't communicate and speak to each other, there's no support, there's no family, there's no way that you feel like you're around people who are trying with you. And when you can be vocal, and it opens so many other doors, and it helps people understand how you are, and you start to realize that maybe people in the past that were irritable or whatever, you start to see things in a different way, and you get to know someone, and you start to realize that these people are all people. They're all the same. We're all the same deep down. And no matter what, if something affects you, you notice it when people talk about it, and you realize how closely you've became as a group when you can feel the subtle changes of emotions, thoughts, and actions and everything. And it's really, really easy to believe that, if you can trust in people around you, that the support is there, and it all has the trajectory going in one direction. And that's positive, it's progressive, and it's really, really spiritual when you put God into that. And God is something I never really, I can't say I had much knowledge in that area. I started going to church until I came to this program. It was my first time going to church. It was my first time doing Bible study. This is my first time really trying to go into depth of understanding who He is and what all of this means. But after all that, when I look back, I said no matter where I was at, I was always pretty much the same. I was positive, I was hardworking, I tried to mind my own business, I tried to do my best, to help everybody out, and in every way, I tried to be the same person I am now. But no matter what situation it was, I always ended up feeling like my tires are just running, they just start spinning. There's no what is it called, traction. You end up feeling like you're stuck in the mud, not getting anywhere. And it feels like until after I found church and I started to really believe in praying, putting my faith behind it, and knowing how to ask for things or forgive for things in a different way, rather than being upset at the world or upset at my family, myself, or even just my own emotions, understanding them and praying for it in a different way really, really changed everything somehow. It's like the karma changed. It's not like my way of thinking, or it's not it's like you get luckier, but in a different way. It's it's more positive with more solid foundation behind it. And it helps you feel positive every day. It helps you want to help everybody around you. And to do that is to change the minds of everybody. Because if you can believe that there's a group that you can find this in, it will give you positivity when you think about treatments, when you think about rehab, when you think about trying to walk up to somebody and asking for help. And it will really change the way people feel about walking up to you and asking you for help, because you're positive, because you're happier, and you feel like you found your true life for the first time. It's like you open your eyes and somehow there's new sparkle everywhere. Sobriety really changes everything once you get over all those little things that you used to be so angry, upset about before. It's like all of a sudden there's so much beauty in the world that you don't remember was there before.
On my way to glory, I got Jesus in my mind. Thy Savior came to redeem us from an everlasting woe. Oh Lord, if I refuse us, oh, whither shall we go? I got Jesus in my mind.
Lord, have mercy.
In this world I live.